Personal growth therapy can backfire, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. Because while personal growth therapy is often sold as the golden key to mental clarity and emotional healing, many discover it can also create pressure, confusion, and even setbacks. Sounds shocking, right? Yet this is the hidden truth behind therapy mistakes and why self-help gone wrong is more common than people admit. See, we've been told that personal development is a straight path. Read a book, talk to a therapist, shift your mindset, and suddenly life's problems vanish. But in reality, therapy problems, self-improvement mistakes, and toxic self-help traps often sneak in. Instead of healing, some people end up overthinking, self-sabotaging, and questioning their therapy journey altogether. And that leaves many silently asking, why does personal growth feel like it's going wrong? Here's the twist. When therapy backfires, it's not always about the therapist or the tools. It's about how they're used. Think of it like medicine taken in the wrong dose. The cure can become the problem. The good news? Once you spot the raw self-help traps and understand the psychology of growth, you can avoid personal development mistakes and finally use therapy for what it's meant to be, a tool for true self-awareness and transformation. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see therapy truth in a whole new way. The hidden pressure of constant self-improvement. Many people step into personal growth therapy thinking it'll be a straight path to emotional healing, mental clarity, and a better life. But here's the catch. When self-help or therapy becomes an endless chase for improvement, it can quietly turn toxic. Instead of feeling lighter, people often feel trapped in overthinking and self-sabotage. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving a lot, sweating hard, but not really going anywhere. And that pressure can make a therapy journey feel less like freedom and more like a burden. Think about how often we hear phrases like, always be improving, or never settle. They sound empowering, but in practice, they can create a mindset shift that leads to exhaustion. Someone might jump from book to book, podcast to podcast, or therapist to therapist without ever applying what they've learned. That's one of the classic therapy mistakes, confusing information with transformation. Real growth doesn't happen because you consume more. It happens because you practice, reflect, and integrate. A practical example? Instead of reading 10 self-help books in a month, choose one, say, The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, and actually live with its lessons for weeks. Journal your thoughts, test the ideas in real situations, and notice your behavior. That's how personal development sticks. But most people don't do that. They overload, they chase the next quick fix, and ironically, therapy explained becomes therapy gone wrong. And that cycle opens the door to even deeper problems we'll soon uncover. When therapy creates dependency instead of growth. One of the biggest therapy problems happens when personal growth therapy makes people overly dependent on the therapist. Instead of building self-awareness and resilience, they start leaning on weekly sessions like a crutch. Sure, therapy is meant to guide emotional healing, but if every decision, every doubt, and every move has to be processed in therapy, that's a sign of therapy gone wrong. It's like never learning to ride a bike without training wheels. You end up stuck, waiting for someone else to push you forward. This dependency often sneaks in quietly. A person might feel they can't trust their own instincts unless their therapist validates them. At first, that feels safe, but over time, it can undermine confidence. The therapy journey turns into outsourcing decisions instead of cultivating mental clarity. This is one of those self-improvement mistakes most people don't even realize they're making, because it feels like progress. But real personal development should empower, not disempower. A practical way to avoid this trap is to apply the 24-hour rule. When faced with a decision, whether it's about relationships, career, or personal life, give yourself 24 hours to decide before bringing it to therapy. If you make the call and then discuss it later, you'll train your mind to trust itself while still getting guidance. This prevents therapy mistakes and teaches you to rely on your own judgment, because at the end of the day, therapy explained properly isn't about creating dependency. It's about helping you stand on your own feet. And yet, dependency isn't the only hidden danger lurking in self-help. The trap of overanalyzing and overthinking. Here's another way personal growth therapy can backfire. It feeds the habit of overthinking. Instead of finding mental clarity, some people end up dissecting every single thought, emotion, and action. They confuse awareness with obsession, And what begins as a therapy journey turns into a spiral of constant self-criticism. That's not self-improvement, it's self-sabotage disguised as growth. In psychology of growth, this is a common pitfall. Too much focus on the problem blinds you to the solution. Picture this. Someone goes to therapy to overcome anxiety. Instead of moving toward emotional healing, they start questioning every trigger, every reaction, every word they say. Was that my inner child speaking? Was that my trauma? Was that my ego? Before long, they're stuck in analysis paralysis. Therapy truth? Sometimes it's better to act imperfectly than to think perfectly. That's a mindset shift most people miss when therapy mistakes creep in. One simple practice to escape this trap is grounding. Instead of writing 10 pages about why you felt sad today, step outside, take a 5-minute walk, and feel your breath. Engage with life instead of overanalyzing it. Self-help gone wrong often keeps people in their heads, while raw self-help and real therapy explained brings them back into their bodies. Overthinking might feel like control, but in reality, it steals presence. And if overthinking is a thief, wait until you see what happens when self-help starts messing with your identity. When self-help redefines your identity the wrong way. Personal growth therapy is supposed to help people uncover their authentic selves. But sometimes, therapy backfires by pushing individuals into rigid labels or identities that don't really fit them. Someone might start seeing themselves only as the anxious one, the traumatized one, or the overthinker. Instead of emotional healing, they end up boxing themselves in. That's one of the most dangerous personal development mistakes, trading freedom for a new prison. It often happens subtly. During the therapy journey, clients hear about patterns, archetypes, or diagnoses, and while these can offer mental clarity, they can also turn into limits. Suddenly, every action is explained away by a label. I sabotage because I'm avoidant, or I can't change because I'm a perfectionist. Therapy explained in a healthy way should free you from those limits, not reinforce them. But therapy problems occur when those labels become an identity instead of a tool. A more empowering approach? Use labels as maps, not destinations. For instance, if therapy reveals self-sabotage tendencies, instead of declaring, I am a self-saboteur, flip it. I sometimes sabotage, but I can also choose differently. That subtle mindset shift makes all the difference. The danger of toxic self-help is that it cements false identities, while raw self-help reminds you that identity is fluid. And when identity gets locked, another backfire often shows up: the clash between personal growth therapy and real-world relationships. The ripple effect on relationships. Personal growth therapy doesn't happen in a vacuum. When someone starts digging deep into self-help and mindset shifts, it often changes the way they interact with others. Sometimes that's positive, but other times therapy mistakes create distance. Friends or family might feel judged, left behind, or even attacked by the new version of you. That's one of the raw truths about self-improvement. It can quietly backfire on relationships if it's not handled with balance. Take an example. A person learns about toxic behavior in therapy and suddenly labels half their circle as toxic. While boundaries are crucial for emotional healing, turning every conflict into a red flag can damage real connections. This is where therapy gone wrong collides with human behavior. Instead of building bridges, it builds walls. And ironically, the personal growth journey, meant to create harmony, can end up breeding loneliness and misunderstanding. A wiser way to approach this is to practice compassion alongside self-awareness. If you realize someone has flaws that trigger you, try balancing boundaries with empathy. For instance, instead of cutting them off immediately, communicate openly. I'm working on my mental health, so I may need some space when I feel overwhelmed. This approach prevents self-help traps from becoming isolation traps. Because while personal development is personal, it doesn't mean walking the path alone. And that brings us full circle to what this entire therapy truth really means for your life. So here's the big therapy truth. Personal growth therapy can backfire, but only if it's misunderstood, misapplied, or turned into another trap of self-sabotage. You've seen how therapy mistakes, overthinking, dependency, and even toxic self-help can quietly derail a personal growth journey. But you've also seen how small mindset shifts, grounded practices, and balanced self-awareness can flip the script and bring real emotional healing. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you keep chasing quick fixes, or will you slow down and actually integrate what you learn? Will you allow labels and therapy problems to define you, or will you choose to rewrite your own story? Remember, the psychology of growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And progress comes from applying wisdom in your real life, with courage and consistency. So take this life advice seriously, because it could mean the difference between therapy gone wrong and therapy that truly transforms you. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like self-help gone wrong or therapy backfired in your life? Drop your story in the comments because your voice might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you found value here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss more raw self-help truths and psychology of growth insights. Your personal growth journey doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real.